All right.
He's
We're here
back.
with Alex Bregman.
He's back.
He is back, but the first time that we had him, it was like there was no backstory. There was no history
No
there.
history, no love.
It's different now.
No love
It's
lost.
It's just
No love lost.
It's just different now.
Coming for that ass, Carabas.
Yeah, well, who's coming for whose ass?
But hey,
I mean, it could go either way.
I mean, you know where I side.
You're always against me, so I
You
mean,
know
like,
where I side.
Yeah, I mean,
Player side.
yeah, it's
player
fine.
side.
It's fine. Alex Bregman, welcome back. I guess we're at Astros camp today, and the Houston Astros won 103 games in 2018, and you were a big part of that.
Thank
I
you.
remember, whatever. And 2017 monster postseason for Bregman. I mean, you are very. What are you? 24.
24.
Yeah.
24.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I remember when we had you on CCK, you were like, "We got like 15 more years of this shit." So I mean, like, how do you sort of prepare yourself for 15 more years of this shit?
Well, you got to take care of your body.
Yeah.
That's number one,
Yeah.
and that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to take care of our body and get it ready for the season, and this is the time to get all the kinks out. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be another fun year. I mean, the AL's loaded again.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you this. What was it like when Justin Verlander walked back through that door
Yeah.
again? You're like, fuck, it's real.
Nobody was more surprised than this guy.
He's still on our team. Verlander's still on our team.
Oh my God, dude. So when we signed him, I thought it was like a one and done thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was one and done, and then it's like, holy cow, we got
Our dude's sticking around.
two more years.
He's gonna-
Yeah.
And then now, who knows? We might be able to re-sign him. That'd be huge.
Yeah, he did
guy wants
express
to
interest.
pitch till he's 45.
Yeah.
And dude, I mean,
And I don't doubt him.
no,
Yeah.
the work is there. You see it behind the scenes. I've been standing for the dude for I don't know how fucking long. People wanted to chirp, wanted to run their mouth when he was going through those down years because he had the abdomen injury.
Yeah, he's
guy's trying to get himself back right, and he did, and then arguably should have won the Cy Young a couple years ago, right? What does it do for you to see that kind of work ethic grind out? Because you know those things that are going on behind the scenes. You're aware of that shit. Nobody's going to blow up the spot in the media because it's fucking Justin Verlander. The guy's he's going to figure it out, and he has. But for you guys to see him grind that axe behind the scenes, like, what does that do for you in terms of creating a character for the club?
Yeah, well, it just makes everybody around him better. It makes Garrett better. It made Dallas better. It's gonna make Miley better. It's gonna make everybody better. Just being able to just watch him work. He shows up on start day, completely different person than like he turns into like.
Is he a dick? Just
No.
a total dick?
No, he's not a dick. He's just not. You're so zoned in on he's so zoned in on the game. You're like afraid to even be like,
Yep.
hey, good luck today, bro. you don't even want to like
Get the
talk
fuck
to him.
out of the way.
He's got like 3 songs on repeat, Eminem in his headphones, and he just paces back and forth all day.
Like a
All
psycho.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a fucking caged animal.
Yeah, but I mean, the guys that are like that are usually the best in the game.
Those are
that
the
do
greats.
that. Yeah.
Those are the greats.
It's just repetitive,
Yeah.
and it's just over and over and over again. And he keeps doing it and keeps doing it and keeps doing it. And just when you thought like, oh, he's gonna get tired, no, he's back locked in.
Right. Yeah. So the narrative is that Major League Baseball, they're not really that great at promoting their players. You kind of just promote yourself. So like,
And do a damn good job.
yeah. So like, where did like the inspiration, the idea come from to be like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna start documenting like what I do. I'm gonna start even stuff outside of baseball, because like I know that like I bust your balls about like the $500 tip thing, and like I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna tip somebody $501, shove that up your ass. But I still think that like that's cool that you're doing stuff even outside of baseball to be like, this is who Alex Bregman, the person, is instead of just the player. That's kind of what grabs people. Is like it's not like it's cool to hit homers. It's cool to win a World Series title. What's the person like? So where was the inspiration to just do something like that?
Well, growing up, I grew up from like an NBA background. My parents owned a minor league basketball team. We ended up selling them to the Cavaliers when I was probably 12, 13 years old. And just being around that, kind of grew up in the NBA atmosphere, and just made me love the NBA. So now I'm watching all these guys in the NBA do it. Love MMA as well.
Okay.
New Mexico is like
it's
Jackson
hot
Wink
bed.
MMA. John Jones is from there. Holly Holm. Her husband was my high school baseball coach when I was growing up. So just growing up in the NBA and MMA atmosphere, it's kind of like all these guys do it, and like, why doesn't baseball do it? Why doesn't baseball show their personality? If I was a kid growing up, and Jeter or A-Rod or anyone showed me what they did every day, like I would be locked in 24/7 on what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of brought the inspiration for that, and now we're just kind of like off and running a little bit. We had the YouTube channel. We might dabble into a little podcast or something throughout the year, just different road cities and stuff like that. But we'll see. I mean, the focus for me is strictly on winning baseball games, no matter what. That's and the other stuff that outside of that is like takes zero of my energy.
Yeah. Right. So
zero.
Like that's something I want to ask, because I think that's what a lot of players at times can get scared off by is because I said this to Jared, and we're talking about our boy Bauer as well. Like, these two dudes get it. Bauer gets it. Breg gets it. They understand that there are kids that want to watch you stretch. They want to watch you field ground balls. They want to watch you fucking eat cereal. They want to do it all like Alex Bregman. And you understand that, and you're giving the people that. How do you balance, I guess, at times? Because let's be real. This is something like what you're doing. I couldn't do that. For one, I was nowhere near fucking good enough to do that.
True.
Number two, like, how am I going to balance? Like, I'm going to just try to become a superstar behind the camera, and the next thing you know, I'm backing up bases in Double A because I'm fucking dog shit and worried about my YouTube channel. Well, you do a phenomenal job of balancing all of that. How?
Well, like that's the number one thing I was scared of when this whole thing started, because for me growing up, like, it's always been about try and work as hard as you possibly can to be the best baseball player you can possibly be every single day, and try and win as much as you possibly can. And that's what scared me. And I was like, I'm not doing this because it's going to take too much of my time, and I'm going to have to be doing all this stuff, going everywhere, doing all this stuff. And they're like, no. The guy who's running my YouTube channel, all that stuff behind the scenes, he's like, no, bro, like, you don't have to do any of that. You live your life. You do exactly what you do exactly what you normally do. You worry about winning baseball games. That is the only thing on your mind. I don't want anything else to be on your mind. All this other stuff will take zero effort out of you. And I was like, okay, we'll see. So the first 2 weeks go by, and I'm like, well, you're right. No effort out of me. And then like 4 months later, still no effort. I'm just being myself.
Same shit.
Doing my thing. And they're doing it behind the scenes, and they're basically giving everybody that behind the scenes access to whatever we're doing, and it's taking zero of my effort. My whole effort all off season is trying to get better as a baseball player and hopefully win.
Well, dude, and that shines through. That's what's awesome about what you're doing, and you and Bauer as well, but specifically you, because you catch a fucking 30-second video, and we've watched you field ground balls. We've watched you work out. We've watched you eat lunch with your boys, taking care of your crew, which I fucking love. You don't forget the people who help get you where you're at. And kids, in a matter of 30 seconds, have fallen in love with Alex Bregman. If they, for some weird reason, didn't know who the fuck you were before, they absolutely do now in a matter of 30 seconds. So you are fucking nailing it, my friend.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah, you're welcome for the boost in views. Like,
I appreciate that. No, Jared helps me out. Jared captures the northern region for me.
Oh yeah, he can do that.
So I'm curious, because it must be two completely different, not mindsets, but feelings going into spring training, coming off a World Series title versus coming off the way that the 2018 season ended. For you, I didn't say how it ended. Don't give me that look. I'm just saying.
Every time.
I'm just saying. How is it different for you coming into spring training off a World Series title versus like our season got cut short, like 103-win team, like you should be better than 5 games in the ALCS. You were better than 5 games in the ALCS. So what's the difference? Like where's the hunger meter at coming off a World Series title versus like a premature exit?
Yeah, I think we were extremely still hungry last year. Now we also kind of had like a little bit of we did win the World Series and like a little bit of that, but at the same time we still took it one pitch at a time, one game at a time, busted our ass every single day, and the pieces didn't really line up. Like there's no excuse for losing at all. Boston outplayed us, but the same, like, some guys got hurt, and we realized that like you have to be like on your P's and Q's in the playoffs. You can't. There's no like tiptoeing your way in hurt. We needed to get healthy, and guys have worked extremely hard to do that. I mean, I was extremely proud of some of the, like, Altuve was on the surgery table the day after the series ended.
Mhm.
Like Lance was getting Tommy
Dealing
John.
with his shit, too,
Lance was
his
getting Tommy
elbow.
John right after. They told him he could have shut down, but he said no. I want to strap it on for the
Yeah.
boys and play. There's a lot. Correa was hurt with his back
Yeah,
all
the
year.
back.
Springer's thumb, it never really was healed until now. But we went out there and we weren't on top of it. And the Red Sox capitalized on everything. Jackie Bradley, I think he had 3 knocks that series. That
Yeah.
were 3 of the biggest knocks
Yeah.
of the
Drove
entire
in 10.
postseason.
10.
It was
Fucking
crazy.
Like 10 or
kidding
11,
me?
yeah.
Along with
I had to sit and
A
watch
plus
that
defense.
shit.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
that Benny catch was pretty dope.
Yeah, it was the catch of the year. He made an unbelievable play.
Yeah.
I love Bendy.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best. What was your reaction to that? Like, is there obviously you're extremely frustrated, but when you watch that catch now, is it like fuck, like I almost had it, or like tip of the cap type deal?
I think both. I think damn, we were so close to
Yeah.
doing it again. And
Not
then,
even just I'm talking about like you specifically
Yeah.
on that one play.
Yeah, I was like, damn, so close to doing it
Like
again.
off the bat, you're thinking that bitch is bleeding. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's
down.
Off the bat, I said tie game.
Yeah.
Way go. Let's go.
I was like borderline ready to go nuts. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we just tied the game.
Yeah.
And then also I'm like, it's a hell of a play.
Yeah.
And that's an aggressive play. And it made me think back to some of the plays in the postseason before. Like, if you want to win, you can't be playing not to lose.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be playing aggressive. In the playoffs, you have to play aggressive. You can't ooh, I don't know if I want to dive for this ball because if I do and I don't get it,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to win the game. No, you have to go balls to the wall.
Right.
And that's what he did.
Yeah.
And Boston's got a ring.
Fucking sold out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the core of the Astros is one of the best. We just did a podcast last night, and I said, bar none, Astros have the best infield in baseball.
I debated that.
Yeah,
I
well,
debated that.
He
I
would.
did.
Well, he
I
picked
did.
the ace. I mean, he's biased.
And it's not
Being
just
an unbiased
biased.
national baseball journalist, the Astros have the best infield in baseball. So when it comes down to, because we've talked to some guys, and I'm like, do you want to be the guy? Like, does it mean something to you to be the guy? I think Arenado was the guy that we talked to about that because they got guys on that team.
Sure.
For you, is it just like, you got Altuve's an MVP, Correa could be an MVP, you very well could be an MVP. For you, is there a desire to be the guy, or is it just like we're all guys?
I think the second one that you said. I think we all want to continually push each other to be better and better and better, and there's always going to be a little bit of competition, but it's not competition within our team. It's competition to be the best at your position in the league. That's what we say. I think early on when we first got together, it was more of hey, I want to be the best, because in the minor leagues when you're coming up, you want to be the best player on your team.
Yeah.
It's survival of the fittest down there. It's
Yeah.
the minor leagues is me. In the big leagues, it's us.
Yeah.
It's we. And Carlos Beltran told all of us that when he came over. He's like, don't try and be the best player on this team. Try and be the best player at your position in the league. Every time you match up against the whoever from whatever team, you try and beat them that day and be
Yep.
better than them that day.
Yep.
And that's the kind of the mindset that we started taking, and it's good. It's a really good lineup, and we gotta go out there and do it.
How are you guys preparing now differently than, and maybe you specifically, coming into a season where you do have a little more time because the postseason parades, the tours, and all that shit, that isn't there. That's not beckoning and pulling you in 50 different fucking directions. You can now focus. What did you do immediately after to flush 2018 and put that in the rear view and then get back to work? Because you get away from the field, you knock the dirt off the spikes, and you go, I'm a fan of umbrella drinks, Brett. I like umbrella drinks.
Well, I was kind of pissed after this postseason, so I got into the weight room.
Okay.
I got
Started
into the weight
throwing
room.
shit
quick.
around, getting angry.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, New Year's comes, and I'm in Arizona, and watching. I was gonna go watch LSU play in the bowl game, and I wake up, and my arm is completely locked out.
Oh.
And I'm like, what's going on? My arm had been hurting for the last few years, and I was scared it was something worse than it really was, and I was gonna have to miss time. And thank God it happened when it did, because if it would have happened during the season, it would have been a DL stint.
Ugh.
So I find out that I have bone chips in my elbow, and I'm like, well, that's better than I thought originally. But then I'm like, do I take him out now, or do I just play the full season through with him and have the possibility of it coming up again, or do I get surgery and miss like the last 4 weeks of spring training? And the whole reason that I decided to get the surgery was because based on the fact that, like you asked, I started working out right away when the season ended, so I felt like my body had a good base. And
You're in a position to be able to withstand this recovery.
Exactly. I was in a position to where I could just work out my lower body and core for those 4 weeks when I was healing, that I could recover. But thank God that I started working out then, or else I would have been like way behind.
The prehab is real. Trust me, I had to do it with a shoulder lift shit that you're not gonna be able to lift right after this. So hopefully your fucking weak ass body can figure it out.
Yep.
You're talking to me?
I'm talking to me, and that's
Okay.
part of it.
No, he's bigger. We were talking about rough and rowdy. He's bigger in person.
Thank you.
Like, not height wise, like
Yeah.
width wise.
Along with
what do
the
you think?
sun, he's been working out. He's been working out on the trip.
Well, it's what happens. You get brighter, you get redder. It's like it
My
enlarges
face
you.
is
Yes.
a disaster.
Oh,
right
he's
now.
got bubbles on his forehead. Right
Yeah,
now.
it's not an ideal situation. What are you, like 6 feet?
No, it says 6 feet on the thing, but I'm actually about 5'10" and a quarter. Kind of like,
So disappointed right now.
kind of like the Kyler Murray. What was it called? Pro Day or whatever.
Yeah.
5'10" and a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Big hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quarterback
We'll
hands.
take that. So do you feel now, because obviously Mike Trout, best player in baseball. Bryce Harper, he's sort of like the lightning rod of baseball. I guess he's the face of baseball now. He's the highest paid guy. Do you think that there's been some sort of, not like campaign, but do you think that the league has sort of honed in on you to sort of elevate you to that same level where it's like, this guy could be the face? Because it seems like most things that you say get picked up, and we're trying to like make this a thing now. Like, do you notice that at all?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think some of them get
Taken out of context.
Yes, I think a lot of things are said differently on video than they are in writing.
Well, it's easy to take a quote card and
Yeah,
just
you
be
can't
like,
hear the tone.
He said this.
Right.
He might have been laughing
Yeah,
at the time, but he said
Yeah,
it.
he's got a smile on his face and he's
Yeah.
joking around, and you
Right,
make it
right,
sound
right.
like he's on a soapbox.
Yeah,
it's like speaking gospel.
It's like, gosh, Patriots and Red Sox, they won last year. God, they're always winning up there. Don't you? There's no city you want to beat more.
Right.
And then if you put that in writing,
Right.
it sounds like there's no city more you want to beat than
Right,
Boston.
you're throwing darts at Tom and Giselle in the morning. Fuck all of you.
Yeah. And then you're getting like hate mail from up north. It's like, hey, I'm gonna
From Boston?
but you better keep your head on a swivel when you enter Massachusetts. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
But you know that that's a good thing. Like, you don't want people to feel indifferent about you. Like, if you're getting booed on the road, you're a dude. Like, that's like Barry Bonds. Like, they don't boo
50
nobody's.
right.
Yeah, like he was going
You
on
made
the
it when
road.
50,000 people are showing up to boo you.
Yeah, and I mean, do you embrace the villain role? Because it's almost like you're not like what. Like,
he's not.
When
That's
you
the
meet
thing.
the guy in person, you're like,
Right.
good guy,
Awesome
you know.
dude.
And then like they even did the thing with you know, what was the kid? The kid tweeted you and you said like, oh, good swing, and then you met with him. It's like, assholes aren't doing stuff
Right,
like that.
exactly.
Put this on a quote card. Alex Bregman confirmed, not an asshole.
Right.
Kind of a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Likes
seal of approval.
kids.
Yeah.
Will help your kid with his swing.
Right.
Dickheads aren't just doing that.
Wants to promote the game.
Right.
Wants to promote baseball to the youth. Like,
but-
it's a good thing.
But we're just going to turn him into a villain.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, you know, when you have guys like A-Rod rolling into Boston, they're booing him at the time because he's an asshole. If they boo you, it's because, like, this guy can fucking hurt us.
Right.
We want to
We don't-
rattle him a
We
little
don't
bit.
want to have him beating us. So
Yeah,
let's get in
I
that
think it's a
nut.
little bit different.
No, but I like that kind of stuff too, though. Like I watch. I don't want to be known as a villain, no. But at the same time, like I think it's fun.
Yeah.
And I think like if you watch the UFC, like Conor McGregor is
Yeah.
talking because he knows how to sell a fight.
Right.
When you guys on Barstool, when you guys are talking about stuff, you know how to sell stuff.
Yeah.
Like the NBA, they make rivalries between Westbrook and KD, and they make rivalries between now like Kyrie and LeBron, and then the reuniting of them and like all this stuff. But I think that's fun for baseball and stuff like that. Like,
Do you think? Let me ask you this then. Do you think that players have a certain level of responsibility to entertain that if they have a personality that's fit for it, because of how we are viewed as unmarketable, unpersonable individuals? Or do you think that it's better left for that stuff to kind of develop organically, i.e., you and the YouTube channel, Bauer and the interaction? Is it better that it just kind of happens that way, or do you think players should start to kind of step up and take some responsibility for that?
Well, I think a lot of players are scared, like we were saying earlier, about like the time that it takes. And I was talking to Jarvis Landry, who's one of my friends from LSU who plays football, and he's like, yeah, you guys just don't like. I feel like you guys don't have time to do it. We have 6 days off during the week or whatever, and we play on Sunday. And he's like, we got all the time in the world to market ourselves. Because I was telling him, I'm like, how you guys wear a mask and you're more marketable than baseball players?
Right.
Like people get to see
you.
Yeah, people get to see baseball players' faces all the time.
Right.
But they have time to get out and do all that stuff. Baseball players do too. It's just, do they want to make the time to do it? And it doesn't take a lot of effort. And that's like, yes, some stuff takes effort. Like if you want to do like if you want
to grab your buddies and go fuck up at a little league game and umpire and just do some shit, like that takes time.
That takes some effort. Like that takes a little bit of like, hey, it's Sunday during the off season, you normally be off. It takes 2 hours to go do that.
Yeah,
like that's something you wouldn't do during the season.
Right.
I think it's also part of like the circle that you belong to, because you talked about how when you first started doing it, you're like, I don't have the time to do that. But then you have people around you be like, no, you do. Just keep doing what you do. We'll handle the rest.
The network.
If you're gonna make it to the big leagues, you're baseball, and it's like you're not thinking about, how do I market myself? Like you need people that are like, hey, I got this, you do you, I'll handle the marketing aspect of it.
Yep, you have to have a team around you. That's crucial. And if guys in baseball have a team around them that make it easy for them to do it and market themselves, and they want to do it, it's super easy.
Is there anything to the old school mentality? Because you understand it. You know how it goes. We've got a fucking unwritten rule book that I still haven't been able to locate, but I sleep next to every night. How important is it for guys to start to realize, hey, I can become myself, but dealing with that old school mentality of keep your head in your locker as a young guy, speak when spoken to, ears open, mouth shut.
No, I love all that stuff. Like I love the unwritten rules of baseball. I love all of it. I love it. I think that you can be yourself and still go about playing the game and working hard and playing to win the right way, and do it also being yourself.
But 2017 World Series, that World Series, I think, set the record for most homers in a single World Series.
Tons
I
of
think
D
it also
getting
set the record for the most bat flips in a single World Series. Like, I feel like if you're
We had
a
a
rules
team
guy, you can't. I mean, like,
we had a team meeting before that said let the bat flips go.
Yes.
They're on.
which
Bat
is
flips are in.
awesome. Like, you should, especially on that stage. Like, if it's the World Series, and I mean, obviously, like Manny bat flipped in Cleveland when the Red Sox were down like 7-2. It's like, all right, maybe save it for like the good moments, but that was such a back and forth World Series to where the moment called for it. But if you're an unwritten rule guy, how can you also be a bat flip guy?
I think it's just about how you do it. I think it's about doing it in the right situation when the time is right. Like I wasn't mad about Bautista's bat flip, but if he does that when they're up 14-0 in April, it's like that's a little weird.
It's like, all right,
But he hit the biggest home run in Blue Jays history, so that was pretty sick.
Yeah,
I'd say Joe
One
Carter's got
actually,
something to say
I'm
about
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought about that right as I said it. Yeah. That one was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Kind of decent.
Yeah.
My bad, everybody. I do watch
Sorry to
baseball.
Canada.
I watch baseball. I
We
promise.
love Joe Carter. We love Ed Sprague. Yeah. It's okay.
I love baseball. I promise.
Who was your favorite baseball player growing up?
I think it varied a little bit. I had a bunch of different favorite baseball players.
Who were you emulating in the mirror?
When I first started out, I loved Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, A-Rod, Jeter. When I got a little bit older and I was a bat boy for the Lobos at about 13, 14 years old at University of New Mexico.
Yeah.
And Arizona State came into town. Jason, my buddy who's in here,
What year are we
knows
talking?
the story. I don't know the exact year. I wish I did, but
04?
Yeah, this is like the Ethier, Pedroia, like those guys.
So ground ball's hit by an ASU player to shortstop, and they're up by like 15, and throws up the line. First baseman gets off the bag to catch it and tag it, and the guy running, busting his ass down the line, dives head first.
Yeah,
they're already up like 15-1, but he doesn't care. He's busting his ass, playing the game hard.
Yeah.
Dives in safe at first, and I'm like, I want to play the game like that guy.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
I absolutely love that guy.
was he a shortstop?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet he was.
And then he won the Rookie of the Year.
yeah,
Then he won a
also,
few World Series.
He's got a couple. He's got 3 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An MVP too.
He's got an MVP. Not a big deal. 2008.
And I still am giant fan.
You ever met him?
Yeah, I did.
What's
Thanks
that
to Alex
conversation
Cora.
like?
Just like, hey, bro, you're a badass.
I mean, but who said that to who? It could go either way.
No, I said it to him. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me? He's a legend. He's
Yeah.
a legend, and I loved Pedroia after that. From then on, like loved Dustin Pedroia. I wanted to be, and that was my comp. Everyone was comparing me to him.
I remember
Really?
that.
Coming up, like
Yeah.
Do you know? I mean, because he's a Woodland boy, Northern California boy.
Yeah.
And the comp, like a lot of the talks around the scouting circles and shit, were like, we feel like the back can play, but where's this fucking short little chubby fuck gonna play defense? Like,
Yeah.
where are we gonna find a place for?
That's what they told me too.
Really?
Mhm.
I guess it's golden out there.
Yeah.
That's where I'm gonna play. It's fucking golden.
Yeah. I mean, but you're like,
He's pretty good in Oakland, bro.
Yeah,
he's all right.
it's all right. He gets it done. It's platinum over there.
So I got a hypothetical for you, because you came up as a shortstop. You found a nice home at third base. Hypothetically, if you were to reach free agency and sign anywhere else, and shortstop's open, is that intriguing to you, or would you just like, I'm a third baseman now?
Honestly, wherever.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's been the mindset forever. It would be like, right now we have 2 all-stars up the middle, so they're like, hey, you want to play third? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to play third.
Yeah.
I want to win.
Yeah.
And if that means me playing second in the future, or means playing short in the future, I think my best position is probably shortstop.
Yeah.
Still now, but we got a stud at shortstop here, so
That's
I'm
pretty good.
I'm perfectly fine
Good
playing
player.
third.
Decent player.
Good player.
Decent player.
Yeah.
I don't know if we got to ask you this the first time. But obviously you're talking about interactions with guys like Pedroia. You're thanking guys like Cora for starting those exchanges and making those introductions. What was your big league moment for yourself when you realized, like, yo, bro, I'm in the fucking show right now. Like, this is show shit.
Yeah. I think, my first game, I walked up the tunnel and I looked to my left and I'm like, damn, I watched Brian McCann play as a Brave.
Right.
Then I look to his left and I see A-Rod taking swings.
Mm-hmm.
Then I look to his left and I'm like, that's Carlos Beltran. And like 5 seconds later, I feel at the game, it just flew by. And like 5 seconds later, I'm at third base, 2 outs in the first inning, and Beltran one-hops me with a 104-mile-an-hour missile off the bat. I catch it, and I can't even, like, it was hit so hard that I caught it, and I couldn't even think. I threw it, and thank God it hit the first baseman in the chest. Because, like, I envisioned, like, that night before when I'm, like, thinking about the game, I'm not worried about my at-bats, which I should have been worried about because I started 1 for 32. But I was worried about the throw.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're so antsy, like, your first game in the big leagues, that after I caught the ball, I was worried I was going to hit the, like, dude selling popcorn in the stands.
So what would be worse?
Chuck Knobloch that shit?
What would be worse, the offer on your debut day or, like, 2 kicked balls?
I would have rather 2 kicked balls and 2 knocks.
Okay.
But we made the plays, and I started 1 for 32. It went from standing ovation my first, like, 10 at-bats.
Get this fucking kid out of here.
Boo! He's not ready. Everybody
Can't
was,
handle the show.
Oh, yeah. Everyone was booing, and then, like, 2 months later, we were good again. So it was crazy. But that's how it is. It's like, when you come up, you better perform, or they're going to send your ass out.
All right. You mentioned A-Rod. I know, Dallas, you've had your problems with A-Rod in the past. I like A-Rod now as a media guy.
I like him.
You did something with him, like, recently on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
What type of advice does a guy like A-Rod have for you?
A lot. Whether it's off the field growing the game, or whether it's on the field. He's like, I asked a bunch of people because we got McCann and Beltran over from the Yankees.
Yeah.
And they both said, like, bar none, A-Rod knows more about baseball than anybody. He studies it. And you can tell with the broadcast, like, he does a really good job on there.
That's why I flipped on him. I was like, all right, this guy's, like, really fucking good at this.
Yeah. He knows the game.
It's a ridiculous baseball mind.
Yeah.
And that's what I would ask people to try to separate. Like, you can have your feelings about the dude, right?
Yeah.
But, like, if you're trying to appreciate what he can mean to the game, like, you need to step back and realize, like, it's a fucking gold mine as far as knowledge and as far as experience is concerned. That's why, like I don't have the beef or whatever. I just like, damn, dude, I want him to have been able to have that impact on guys like you while on the field as well, because he's going to be able to do it throughout the rest of his career in media and shit, which is awesome. Because I want guys like you to be able to look at a guy like him and be like, fuck, I can be even better. That's me being selfish, because you're really good right now, and that's just me getting to watch you grow and excel. So I fully appreciate that about A-Rod, and I want other people to as well. So I'm not completely out on the dude as a human being altogether.
You're just probably not exchanging
He's
Christmas
not coming to my
cards.
fucking birthday party, that's for sure.
I mean, I'm not coming to your birthday party.
You're not invited.
We every time he's in town, I try and ask him everything. I try and, like, if something's going on that I'm not feeling right at the plate, or something's going on in defense that I could try and ask him a question, I'm always like, yo, what do you think about this? What did you think about this? And see if it, like, can help.
Yep.
Because he's super, super intelligent about the game.
Yeah. What's the best advice you've ever gotten from anybody? Teammate, coach, player in the league, Hall of Famer, anybody?
Best advice. That's tough. There's been a lot of good advice. I don't know. I'll tell you, I learned a lot I learned a lot from Cora, about the game of baseball and studying the little things about the game, as well as Beltran. I learned a lot from McCann on how to try and on how to be a leader in the clubhouse, and how to go about your business and stuff like that. Learned a lot from Verlander about how he just locks it in and zones everything out. But
what type of leader are you? Are you a vocal leader? Are you a lead by example guy, or a little bit of both?
I think communicating with everybody is key. I think being able to communicate with your teammates and being able to find out what makes them tick and what you can say to them to motivate them in order to go out and do it. But all that means nothing if you don't lead by example and put in the work and prove it on the field.
Yeah. Yeah. What's AJ Hinch like? I mean, like, he's been there for a little bit now. Is he a guy that would take someone like you when you first come up, and is he just saying, be the guy that got you here in the first place, or is he trying to guide you in different ways? What's he like?
A little bit of both. He wants players to be themselves, and because he knows that everybody's different and everybody has something else that they can bring to the table, make them tick, all that kind of stuff. But the thing that AJ did that really helped me a lot was, I was struggling. Like I said at the beginning of my career, I was 1 for 32, and he's like, hey, I know you're not used to hitting 7th in the order. Like, you've been hitting 2nd for your whole life, and you just came up, and now you're hitting in the 3rd for the first time, and you're getting 3 at-bats a game, 2 off the starter, and then 2 off Dylan Betances and Andrew Miller.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be fuzzy.
So from now on, I'm hitting you 2nd because I believe in you.
Yeah.
And then once he said that to me, like, I kind of started believing in myself that I belonged.
Yeah.
I started believing that I belonged in the big leagues.
I love to hear that, especially coming out of a camp like the Astros, because let's be real. I mean, you play with some calculators. There's some calculation going on in the Astros camp, in the Astros dugout.
There is.
So for him to be able to say, you know what, fuck the numbers, fuck what it all says right now. You get up to the top of that order and you be Alex Bregman. I love to hear that. Is there?
He's really good at that. That's one thing he's really.
That's what I was
really
going to ask. Is there there's a science to that, and he's got that. He's got that down. It feels like.
Yep.
Talking to AJ.
100%. And you can't be too much analytical, but you also need to use the analytical stuff.
It's information.
Because it's some of the stuff that they're providing for us is like, wow, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Like if you know a guy's sequencing, right? If you know like 42% of the time he's coming at you first pitch with a wrinkle.
And you know exactly what that wrinkle is going to look like because they've provided that info for you before the game.
Come on.
Or if you know exactly where you need to aim on the heater because this guy has a certain amount of run,
movement, X movement,
whatever.
Yep.
If you know that before the game, it helps you out. And AJ does an unbelievable job of managing, like, hey, this is what the computer says we should do, and this is my feel for the game. And you have to have feel for the game. And the minute that it's just like robots, it's not going to work.
Right. Are you an unplugged guy where it's like you go to the ballpark early, you do your video shit, you do everything like that, your preparation, and then you play the game, and then you go home? And are you just completely unplugging from baseball, or are you going home and thinking about, like, what can I do to be better tomorrow?
What can I do to be better tomorrow? am thinking about baseball 24/7 every single day. Everything that I think about on a daily basis. I'll tell you more about this in a second, but like legitimately when I get to the ballpark, I'm watching video on the starting pitcher and then all the right-handed pitchers out of the bullpen. I go hit in the cage, go watch more video, talking in the clubhouse about the game.
Yep.
Game ends, come home, and I'm sitting on my couch with Jason, who I've hit with for the last 20 or 12 years. And we talk about the guy pitching tomorrow, what pitch we're going to look for, where we want it to start, what we're trying to do with it, analyze the at-bats from the night before, see if anything was different, and then do it again the next day, and then again the next day, and then again the next day. And like whenever I'm on social media or whatever and I'm posting, it's always like geared to, like if I say something, it's geared towards what I'm thinking about baseball wise that day.
Sure. Yeah.
So if I'm posting like paved at paradise and put up a parking lot, it's not just like, hey, I'm singing a song and I think this picture goes with the song. No, it's like
there's more to it.
There's something behind
them lines.
Veiled
there's
messages.
There's something behind the
Yeah.
scenes there that I mean.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
But from asking guys that question, haven't you noticed that there's a direct correlation between the guys that say like I obsess over it and I never stop, and the guys are like when I go home I unplug. Like the elite players are like I can't fucking stop thinking about baseball.
Right. It's an obsession.
It has to be.
It's an obsession.
And
Look, I was going to say this because you're an MMA guy.
Conor McGregor.
Nick and Nate Diaz. They're from Stockton, California.
Met both of them this offseason. Great dudes.
Awesome dudes.
Great dudes.
Awesome dudes. Early on, you walk into their house, and you're walking into mats everywhere, chain link on the wall. Your fucking house, your home. That'd be like walking into your living room and sitting down right next to the iron mic, right on a bucket of balls, to the right of the L screen. Like that's what that was like for me. So, is there anything what does your world look like physically in your house? That would show you, or that would prove to somebody like, yo, this dude he's maniacal.
Well, when we get home, I go sit upstairs, and there's two projectors right here. There's two TVs above it. Both TVs are on a MLB network, and one's on the replay of our game that we just played because AT&T always plays our game right after we play.
How many TVs you got?
Condensed version.
2.
That's pussy shit, bro.
Yeah, I know. I gotta renew. I gotta renew this year, so I gotta wait for another year or so to get some more.
You'll get there. You'll be all right. You keep working, bud. You'll be fine.
But we got 2 TVs that are on MLB Network and one on the replay of the game, and then we got 2 projectors right here that we'll plug the computer into that will show like my at bats from that night that I can break down and like lock in and see like
film room.
Yep.
Film room.
And then there's 5 or so bats up there with batting gloves.
Oh, yes.
And I will either look in the mirror or look at Jason and be like, hey, do my hands look right?
Dry hacking.
Oh, yeah.
Dry hacking.
Oh, yeah. And just like I'll do like 100 loads. That sounds horrible. I'll do 100
When I
loads.
get home from the game, I do 100 loads.
No, I'll do 100.
Easy.
I'll do like 100 like loads like in my stance,
Oh, yeah.
load, and then stop in the mirror and make sure it looks right. And then we'll go to bed. If I'm hurting, like if my confidence is a little low, like after Game 5 when I punched out to Evaldi,
That was tough.
I sleep with my bat.
Yeah.
Really? So I've been sleeping with that thing for since the whole off season.
I mean, what does 102 look like?
You know, I told
You
you,
can
just
hear it.
Yeah, you just hear it. You
Yeah.
just listen for it.
Fuzz. Especially I'm sitting cutter up there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, here comes the cutter.
Yeah.
Bread and butter. One of the best cutters in the game.
Yeah.
By
At-
far.
at
94,
94?
95.
Fucking sick.
And then out of his hand, I'm like, oh god, that's a fastball, and I swing 4 feet underneath it. I'm on a vine every day,
What?
tagged by Jared. Every time I see it, even the Red Sox account is posting it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was, they did like a happy birthday to Nathan Eovaldi and just
Just
happened to choose
Play
that video. Yeah.
Jared has nothing to do
It
with
was a great clip.
nothing to do with it. So what is the one thing as we sit today, what is the one thing that you're like, you know what? if Breg's going to click and take it to the next level, this is what we've got to do. This is what I've been working on. This is the area of my game that I have put a central focus on. This has to be better. Or it could be, I mean, you could.
I think it's honestly, it's every aspect of the game I need to get better at. Last year I started off super slow. I played horrible for the first 2 months of the season, and then had a really good June and then good rest of the year. But the thing I'd say is I want to cut down on my strikeouts a lot. Walked like 95, punched 80, but I want to punch like 20 times.
That's like some Tony Gwynn shit.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
So how do you balance that value between obviously the to be real, the monetary compensation doesn't necessarily favor or hasn't recently favored the contact guys. You're not a contact guy by any means. I'm not saying
the game's gonna switch back to being contact.
Thank you. You heard it here. You fucking heard it here. It's gonna count. Roll the pole, touch it with 2, hit behind the guy, move him around. You're gonna get fucking paid. You're gonna get breaded up.
The game's gonna change back because with today's game, everyone's throwing fastballs up and curveballs. So
that happened back in the 80s.
So everyone's swinging up right now. Okay, everyone's trying to swing up and hit the ball in the air, and that if you try and swing up against Justin Verlander,
good luck.
But you saw the whole Red Sox team. They're trying to get on top of them.
Yeah.
Because they got smart guys like JD, Mookie. All those guys are instilling a plan in everybody else, and they're like, hey, we have to be above Verlander today. So when they're above, when they think of like on top, you have a better, like when you think contact, you think more of the top part of the baseball. When you think
on plane.
Yes. When you think home runs, you think hitting the bottom of the ball in the air. And if you try and hit the bottom of the ball in the air right now with guys throwing 4-seamers up in the zone and break and curveballs, it's not going to play. Verlander loves that. If you're trying to homer off him, that's a fly ball to right field, and he's got quick innings. You know what I'm saying? If you do that against Garrett right now, same thing. If you do that against Evaldi right now, you're screwed.
Right.
Kimbrel, you won't come within 3 feet of the ball if you try and hit a homer off Kimbrel.
Right.
You have to try and hit a low ground ball off of him.
Yeah.
His fastball like jumps.
Well, it's that spin,
and that's what they're teaching. They're teaching the spin stuff. So the game's going to switch back, and you got to be more contact, be able to move the ball. And all the teams that have had success in the postseason, they're all put the ball in play.
So that brings me to this next question. They are trying to change the game. We'd like to play a little fuck, marry, kill with some of these potential rule changes. The universal DH, the pitch clock, and the 3-batter minimum for the pitcher. You know about all these? Fuck, marry, kill. What do you got?
I'm gonna marry the DH.
Yes. Yes, she looks good.
What were the other two?
The pitch clock and the 3-batter minimum.
I'll hit and quit the pitch clock.
Yep.
And then I'll kill the 3-batter rule. That's brutal.
Worst.
That's not baseball.
Yeah.
Right. That's not like there's no strategy, right? Like that's what separates the NL and the AL is the NL game is baseball, is strategy. As a purist, I'm in love with it. I don't want to see the pitchers hit. I get it. I'm into more jobs for us. That's what the universal DH provides. I would love to maintain the strategy of the NL because that's fucking baseball. But you're not going to tell AJ how to strategize. You're not going to do that.
No, yeah, because if the best left-handed hitters in the game comes up and you want to go get your lefty to get him out, and then you got Mookie Betts coming up behind him, or you got Aaron Judge coming up behind him.
I'm gonna need some righties.
I'm gonna need a guy to come. I'm not gonna throw that same lefty.
Right.
It takes away from the strategy of the game. And
right. I mean, if they do it, they would have to have some sort of caveat where it's like if he gives up a homer the first at bat, you can pull him. Like you give up a run, you're out.
It's just gonna turn into people just being like, "Oh, I'm hurt. I got to come out of the game."
Yeah.
And then like they're gonna fake stuff, and then they're gonna have to.
That's what I said. If I'm the lefty who's getting the opportunity at the lefty, I spin the lefty and I get him out of there, and then all of a sudden the hammy's barking, and I'm done.
And then the next day, my hammy's not barking anymore.
Feeling great.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a gamer.
You said that you want to get better for 2019. What's your definition of getting better? Like, what numbers are you looking at, like offensively? And I mean, there's not really a defensive metric that's
that anybody likes or
Yeah,
respects.
I mean, like,
Well, the defensive metrics hate me too. So
Well, the eyeball test says different, my friend. So fuck the calculator.
I'm gonna play a little bit deeper on defense this year. Kind of make it a little bit more like shortstop a little bit, so I can play more
create
on
more
like,
angles.
play more on like an X.
Mm-hmm.
Third base, like if I'm playing in, I got to play like straight side to side, which is a little bit weird to me. So I'm gonna move back and play it like kind of shortstop a little bit and see if that helps. I need to throw the ball better across the field. My metrics on defense are bad because my throwing has been bad. And I have my errors have come from throwing the ball away. So I need to improve that, which is basically move my feet better and be more efficient with that when I throw across the diamond. We're working on that every day during camp. And then like offensively, I want to hit more homers. I want to hit for a higher average. The biggest number I want is just 1,000 OPS. That's what I want.
Ooh. That's
elite.
elite.
That's elite. We actually had that conversation a few hours ago. We were talking and said, 900 is great. Very, very, very productive season. 1,000 that's elite.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're sorting the league leaders at the end of the year, you might see 15 guys post or have an OPS north of 900. 1,000, sometimes there's nobody. Sometimes there's one. Sometimes there's two. So when we asked you earlier about like what guys did you grow up like idolizing, you didn't mention any pitchers. So if you could step in the box against any pitcher in baseball history, me versus you, to just see like if you could take them deep, who's that? Or if you just want to like step in the box and say, I just want to see what their shit looks like. Which guy are you picking?
If I could, oh God, who would I want to see what it looks like?
Or you just think like, hey, I want to see how I stack up against.
I would want to see Mariano Rivera.
Yeah.
One pitch and just the best to ever do it out of the bullpen. Like one pitch. I want to see what that cutter looks like. I always dreamed about like, hey, what if I'm in the box against Mariano? What's that gonna look like, and what would I have to try and do to enable her to hit that pitch? If I wanted to take someone deep, I don't know. Maybe a few guys on our team just to see their reaction.
Shut him up in the clubhouse. You face Mo 100 times. How many hits you getting?
Mo? I don't know. 29.5.
Yeah.
You're laying down a bunt on his ass. Gonna throw it away.
No, probably. Yeah, I don't know.
I respect it. I'll tell you this, man.
I'll say 30.
Okay.
I like that.
That's a nice little round 300.
I fucking respect it.
Yeah.
But I might be walking back to the dugout a few times too.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'd be like this.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was one of the coolest things, was listening to guys come back to the dugout. Like as a pitcher, I'm just like listening to the fucking pretzel he puts these dudes in. One fucking pitch, I knew it. It's gonna tail away. It's cutting away from me. I still can't fucking hit it. It was just funny for me to listen to these guys. You're paid millions of dollars to hit this baseball. It's been the same fucking job.
I wonder what David Ortiz was thinking during the World Series when he got him twice.
Yeah. I mean, Ortiz.
Or, I mean, not the World Series, but during the
ALCS. Yeah. I mean, Bill Miller was the one that got him. He got him in that A-Rod brawl game. He was the one that hit the walk-off. And then he also drove one back up the middle that year, too.
Didn't he get the jam shot?
Yeah. No, that was off of Esteban Loaiza.
Elo.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like a drug cartel guy.
He's had better days.
Yeah.
He's had better
in federal prison right now.
Esteban Wise is the man who introduced me to the manicure and pedicure.
Ah.
Yeah.
You take good care of yourself off the field there, Bregman? You a mani-pedi guy?
You a seaweed mask guy?
I just posted a video of my first ever pedicure. Check it out. It's on the channel.
Okay.
And? Did you know what to expect going in there?
I was
away.
I was nervous because my toe had been killing me. I had an ingrown toenail, and she was poking on it, and I was like, "Oh my God! Like this is the worst feeling I've ever had in my life." And then like the next day, my feet felt great.
It's when they start working their way up them shins, start to relax a little. Pay for the extra 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They'll go up to the shins.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Speaking of like things of that nature, Dallas and I were at the strip club last night, and I was like, "Oh, I think we're gonna be interviewing Bregman tomorrow, and kind of want to face him in wiffle ball, see what happens. So I took $100 out of the ATM, and I
did
was
what
like,
any respectable baseball man would do.
I was like, instead of getting a lap dance with this $100, hey, honey, why don't you come over here and rub down the Rocket's arm? Why don't you give me a little rub down?
So we're
I'm
sitting
ready
there.
for Bregman tomorrow.
I'm enjoying a fine dinner, and the Rocket here is getting his right arm worked on, like we're in the fucking training room
for like 15 songs.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I'm hammering.
Is it ready to go?
Oh, he's ready to
always
rock.
ready to
I'm
go.
hammering beef tips and coconut shrimp, and this guy's getting a fucking rub down in the strip club.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I could.
Hey, for everybody that for the last year, I'd like to say this to the Rocket. I actually don't. I actually appreciate the Rocket.
Well, thank
Okay.
you.
I like the.
Thank you.
I like the guy a lot.
Thank you. Wow, I didn't expect that from you today.
Good.
So is that like your compliment to get out of actually facing me, or are you gonna actually do that?
You want to face me today
Yeah.
in wiffle ball?
Wiffle ball.
All right,
You gonna do it?
here goes.
Oh!
Let's go. Oh, it's about to go
The
down.
Rocket, this is the biggest fucking
Moment of my
AB
life.
Of your life.
Yeah.
Of your life.
Yeah.
They're gonna remember. What was it?
6504.
6504.
Yeah.
That's right. Never forget.
Never forget 13 punchies.
Saugus Rocket.
Yeah.
Hey, the last wiffle ball I tried to hit was on game day, and of course this guy who
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
he posted about it.
Yeah, of
It was a
course.
tough look. I missed
all
the
I
first
said
one.
was like, I hate to see it. I didn't want to see it. I just saw it. And I just wanted to make sure. I tried to get it deleted off the internet.
Kid was tailgating all morning.
Well, that's low hanging fruit, Carabas. That's
I
unfair.
mean,
that's unfair.
I tried to get it removed from the internet. I was like, oh, someone please take this down.
He said, "Someone please take this down." It's a tough look for Alex.
yeah.
Retweet.
I was looking out for you. It's like,
Just want to
this
make sure
video right
that
here.
that Jack on Twitter, he was able to track it. Like, Jack, this is the one we need taken down.
Correct.
This one.
Correct.
This video.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. If you
Right. Why don't you finish him off, Dallas?
Fair enough. I mean, he's already answered this question, has he not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you answered this
You've been
question.
on before, yeah.
he's an alum, but we can
He probably doesn't remember what he
okay
said, though.
refresh our memories. Hot tub time machine, back into any baseball moment in the history of the game. You get to bear witness to it. What is it? I'll tell you mine because we've already been asked. So just give you an idea.
watch it.
You get to be there.
You get to be there for it. Like, I mean, I can't put you on the field because they're probably dead, but you can be there for it anywhere you want to see. Anywhere. I said I want to be there for the first baseball game being played. Like Abner and all the boys got together and we're like, all right, we good on the rules here? We're gonna call it baseball. Ready? Go. I want to see how that first fucking game went down. Like they had no idea what to do. Like runners on first, double play depth didn't exist. They were just trying to figure it the fuck out. Do you realize you could request pitch, height, speed, and location back in the day? Like you could step up there, staring down Chris Sale and be like, yo, lefty, one of these guys, right about somewhere around 80, make it good. Like you had that ability back then. Incredible. Incredible.
It was a short stint, though.
This game's been offensive driven since sperm, Bregman. Not happy about it.
Oh,
Not happy about it.
horse's ass. 3 for 10, and you're a Hall of Famer. We
Yeah.
fail 7 times.
All right.
I'm not a math guy. That doesn't make sense though.
Do you remember what you said last time?
No, I don't. But if I could go to one moment in the history of the
Maybe it's
game,
changed. Yeah.
right now, this time, I would go to. I don't know. I do not know. I don't remember what I said last time. Do you remember what I
I
said?
don't remember what you said.
I don't. I feel like it was. I feel like it was Jackie Robinson.
I mean, that's been the most popular pick.
Yeah, that's actually that would be awesome. That'd be unbelievable to see. I don't know, man. I would. I don't know. Maybe
Big Mac
when,
breaking the record.
yeah,
That'd be pretty dope.
yeah. Maybe when Bonds broke the record.
Thank you.
That's mine. That's mine.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
Big Mac's was cooler though, because like
The race,
when
man.
Bo-
The race
but
was
yeah,
awesome.
it was
the
the race.
That's
and,
what
like,
made it cool.
But when Bonds did it, it was like Giants fans loved it, and everyone was like, "Boo, fuck you." And then like when Big Mac did it, the whole country was like, "Holy shit!"
Because those are two different time periods, two totally different things that are going on. You've got baseball needing to be saved.
Yeah.
You've got two guys in Big Mac and Sosa saving the game, putting asses in seats in front of televisions when there was still appointment TV. They were creating appointment TV.
That's like the goal of every single baseball player ever to play the game.
Right.
Is to be
I want
in
people
the
to
box
stop.
and people are like, "Oh, he's playing today. I want to sit down and watch him hit." I'm tuning in every night to watch that guy hit because he's doing something special.
Yes. That's why.
That's sick.
That's it. And then you got Barry doing it basically not in spite of, because hey, he may or may not have brought some of that stuff on himself.
Yeah.
But people just weren't clamoring for it
No.
like they were on a collective scale with
And he was
Sosa.
getting one pitch to hit a night,
If that.
and he was hitting it.
Yep, our boy Game 7 just said it. He said he was getting a pitch a fucking series.
Yeah.
A pitch a series.
And crushing
And
it.
taking advantage.
Yeah.
Like imagine seeing a pitch that you could handle over the course of 4 days and hitting it 430, maybe only 420, smoking it nonetheless. Every time.
I mean, that's not about to happen.
You ever
right now,
seen his bat? You ever been to the Hall of Fame?
It's tiny.
No. Well, it's a 34. Chokes up, makes it 32. But the barrel of his bat, and I shit you not.
All the ball marks are on the same spot, or what?
It's maybe a ball and a half's width on the barrel, and the rest of it looks like it's been dipped in lacquer and hasn't been fucking touched. It's insane. Like I legit thought it was like a fucking stencil. Like someone spray painted that on there.
So the first time I ever saw a bat like that was actually my boy Blake Swihart.
Okay.
So we grew up together, and he's hitting in the cage, and he's using wood first because like growing up we use metal bat, and then finally you get old enough you start using wood. He's a little bit older than I am, so he started swinging the wood, and I'm like, bro, why is your bat broken? Like what's going on here? He's like, no, bro, like I just hit the ball here over and over again. And I'm like, I want to do that too. And then you see a guy like Barry Bonds' bat is like,
and it's
ball and a half.
and it's flat, bro. Like fucking flat. Like if you were to look down the side of it like this, it would like this, and then just from him just pounding baseballs in the same spot. It's ludicrous.
That's awesome.
It's ludicrous.
Honestly, I haven't paid attention to the last 15 minutes. I'm just fantasizing about punching him out right now. I haven't heard a fucking word you guys have been talking about.
All right, let's do it.
On that note, Alex Bregman, thank you so much for coming on again.
Thanks, guys.
We'll have to do this
Times
again.
two.
Yeah, sometime soon.